Have you ever wondered how different counseling approaches can shape your understanding of life and your role in it? Welcome to the Psychology and Physical Training channel, Introduction to Counseling Approaches. Today, we're going to explore the intriguing world of humanistic and existential approaches in counseling. These are two significant approaches that seek to understand human nature and its potential, offering a unique perspective on our thoughts, feelings, and actions. The humanistic approach, with its focus on empathy, authenticity, and the inherent worth of the individual, provides a positive view of human nature. Meanwhile, the existential approach, with its emphasis on freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning, confronts the fundamental questions of existence. These approaches aren't just theoretical concepts. They're practical tools that can help us navigate our lives, foster self-understanding, and improve our relationships. They illuminate the complexity of the human experience, shedding light on our strengths, weaknesses, and the profound mystery of existence. Today, we'll delve into these fascinating approaches and see how they compare and contrast. Overview of humanistic approach. The humanistic approach, also known as person-centered therapy, places a strong emphasis on the individual's inherent drive towards self-actualization. This is a journey towards fulfillment, where a person strives to realize their own capacities and to live in a way that is true to their own self. Let's delve deeper into the principles of the humanistic approach. First and foremost, it is based on the belief in the potential for human growth. This perspective views every person as being inherently good, possessing an innate capacity to grow, evolve, and strive for a better understanding of themselves and the world around them. The second principle underscores the importance of the individual's subjective experience. This means that each person's perceptions and experiences are unique, and that these unique experiences shape their understanding of themselves and their world. This principle encourages us to respect and value the subjective experiences of individuals, understanding that their perceptions are their reality. The third principle, the centrality of the therapeutic relationship, is perhaps the most significant. Within the humanistic approach, the therapeutic relationship is not one of doctor and patient, but one of equal partners. The therapist isn't there to fix the client, but to provide an empathetic, non-judgmental environment that facilitates self-discovery and personal growth. The therapist's role is to be genuine, understanding, and accepting, thus empowering the individual to explore their feelings and thoughts without fear of judgment. In this approach, the emphasis is on the here and now, rather than the past. It's about understanding current feelings, thoughts, and behaviors, and how these are impacting the individual's life in the present moment. This focus on the present helps individuals to take responsibility for their actions and to make positive changes in their lives. In essence, the humanistic approach is about empowering the individual to reach their full potential. It's about fostering self-awareness, self-acceptance, and personal growth. And it's about recognizing that every individual is unique, with their own experiences, perceptions, and potentials. Overview of existential approach. Now let's turn our attention to the existential approach, which is deeply concerned with the human condition as a whole. Imagine standing on the precipice of a vast, unknown expanse. This, in essence, is the existential perspective. It's an approach that doesn't shy away from the big questions, but rather encourages us to confront them head-on. At the heart of the existential approach is the emphasis on personal responsibility. It posits that we are not simply products of our circumstances, but active participants shaping our own lives. This perspective empowers us to recognize and seize our inherent freedom to make choices, and it reminds us that with this freedom comes the responsibility for the outcomes of our decisions. Another key principle is the recognition of life's inherent uncertainties. The existential approach acknowledges that life is filled with ambiguity and that there are no definitive answers to many of our most pressing questions. This might seem daunting, but it's also liberating. It allows us to embrace the mystery of life, to find comfort in not knowing, and to create our own meanings. The exploration of existential themes such as freedom, isolation, meaninglessness, and mortality is central to this approach. These themes might seem heavy, but they're integral to our existence. Freedom, for instance, refers to our ability to shape our own destiny. Isolation points to the fact that we are ultimately alone in our experiences. Meaninglessness challenges us to find purpose in a seemingly indifferent universe. And mortality, well, it reminds us of our finite nature, nudging us to make the most of the time we have. Understanding these themes doesn't make life less complex, but it does make it more bearable. It allows us to navigate the world with greater self-awareness, authenticity, and courage. More importantly, it helps us to appreciate the beauty of our existence, despite its inherent challenges and contradictions. The existential approach thus challenges us to confront the fundamental realities of our existence, and in doing so, it inspires us to live more fully, authentically, and courageously. Comparing and contrasting. At first glance, humanistic and existential approaches may seem quite different, but they share some significant common ground. Let's delve into the depths of these two intriguing perspectives, exploring their similarities, differences, and how they shape the world of counseling. Both humanistic and existential therapies place immense value on the individual's subjective experience. They prioritize personal perceptions, feelings, and thoughts as the most authentic sources of understanding one's reality. This emphasis on individuality offers a refreshing contrast to other counseling approaches that may focus more on diagnosing and categorizing symptoms. However, while they both emphasize the individual's experience, their views on human nature differ quite significantly. The humanistic approach tends to adopt an optimistic perspective, emphasizing the inherent goodness in people and their natural tendency towards self-actualization. It sees individuals as beings who are innately driven to grow, learn, and fulfill their potential. On the other hand, the existential approach doesn't necessarily share this rosy view. Instead, it acknowledges the darker aspects of human existence, such as the inevitability of death, the freedom and responsibility we hold for our actions, and the existential isolation that we may feel. It doesn't shy away from these uncomfortable truths, but instead sees them as fundamental aspects of the human condition that must be confronted in the journey towards self-understanding. This divergence in their views of human nature leads to differences in the roles they assign to the counselor. In the humanistic approach, the counselor acts as a facilitator, creating an environment of unconditional positive regard, empathy, and genuineness. This supportive atmosphere encourages clients to explore their feelings and experiences freely, promoting self-acceptance and personal growth. In contrast, the existential counselor is more of a companion in exploration. They journey alongside the client, helping them confront and make sense of life's existential realities. The counselor's role is not to remove the client's anxieties, but to help them find meaning in their struggles and to live authentically despite them. These differences in their views of human nature and the counselor's role can significantly influence counseling techniques. For example, a humanistic counselor might use reflective listening to validate the client's feelings and promote self-understanding. An existential counselor, on the other hand, might employ techniques that encourage clients to confront and accept their existential anxieties, such as the use of existential themes in dialogue. In conclusion, while the humanistic and existential approaches share a common emphasis on the individual's subjective experience, their contrasting views on human nature and the counselor's role lead to different counseling techniques. The humanistic approach, with its optimistic view of human nature, fosters a supportive, growth-promoting environment. The existential approach, on the other hand, encourages a brave confrontation with life's daunting truths, fostering authenticity and resilience. While both approaches value the individual's experience, they offer different perspectives on the path to personal growth and self-understanding. Key takeaways. So what can we take away from our exploration of the humanistic and existential approaches in counseling? Firstly, let's revisit the humanistic approach. This approach is all about the individual. It's grounded in the belief that each person has an innate desire and capacity to grow towards self-actualization. The counselor's role is to create an environment of unconditional positive regard, empathy, and genuineness, empowering the client to explore their feelings freely. By doing so, clients can come to understand themselves better, make healthier choices, and move towards personal growth. On the other hand, the existential approach digs deeper into the human condition. It acknowledges the inevitable anxieties of life, such as death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. The counselor's role here is to guide clients in confronting these realities, helping them to find personal meaning and live authentically despite life's uncertainties. The focus is not on curing, but on understanding and making sense of life's experiences. What's interesting is that while these approaches differ in their theoretical underpinnings, they share a common thread. Both emphasize the importance of the individual's subjective experience and the power of self-understanding. They see the counselor not as a fixer, but as a facilitator of personal growth and understanding. In terms of counseling techniques, both approaches favor non-directive techniques that foster self-exploration and self-understanding. The humanistic approach might use techniques such as active listening and reflection, while the existential approach might employ techniques like existential dialogue and confronting existential realities. In sum, while the humanistic and existential approaches have their unique principles and techniques, they share a profound respect for the individual's capacity to understand themselves and navigate their own life journey. Remember, the journey to self-understanding is as unique as you are. Whichever approach resonates with you, it's all about finding your own path to growth and fulfillment. And if you like this video, do not forget to subscribe and follow the Psychology and Physical Training channel for more videos. Thanks for watching.